Growing up as a person of color, I was always exposed to racial differences. I was exposed to these racial differences at the age of 10 when I was sat down for a scary talk in regards to how to communicate with the law enforcement, because unfortunately, my skin tone affected how I was treated in the law. And this is why I admired the professor and public speaker Kimberly Crenshaw, because she would use her public speaking to advocate for legal reform and to raise awareness to social and racial inequalities. This was only possible through her understanding of public speaking skills. Using those public speaking skills both in her professional life as a professor at UCLA to educate students on race law, but also in her public speaking to raise awareness on social and racial inequalities and to also raise awareness on her coined terms such as intersectionality. She was so successful because she was able to understand her audience. She was able to translate those complex academic ideas into a more clear, emotionally resonant language that pandered to many different audiences. So that proper use of public speaking skills allowed her um, to have movements like the critical race theory be used in laws to examine racial inequalities and to also challenge institutions on colorblindness. Some of these skills that she used were creative language. In one of her speeches by Brune's Talk, published by UCLA on June 11th, 2025, she uses metaphor. She states, "So I fashioned intersectionality as a word picture that captured the experience of being entrapped by two axes of exclusion. In this instance, racism and sexism." She uses this metaphor to change the way that people understood discrimination. Not only was she using creative language, but rhetoric to connect emotionally, build credibility, and rationality with her audience. In that same Brune speech, she says, "I didn't have words to convey what had become my rude awakening, that my girliness was so deficit that I couldn't even be a make believe princess." She uses that storytelling and that pathos to really connect emotionally with her audience and illustrate that system exclusion. Furthermore, she also uses rhetoric like logos. Uh, a publisher named Zoe Klovansky, published on Duke Chronicles on March 24th, 2024, uses her quote, "January 6th should tell us that we cannot save our democracy without speaking to its racist underbelly. We cannot save anti-racism without talking about its democratic implications." So this is a use of the historical facts to really back up her need for social change. And this then adds on to the visualization in her speeches, where she allows the audience to see themselves as a participant in the social change. This visualization also enforces her action, which is education for social change. In all her public skills, in all her use of public speaking skills, that it has allowed her to professionally convey and advocate for social change. She has influenced people, students like me, and many other people around the world to really advocate for racial injustice and also continue their education to battle that racial difference.